Well, hello, farming friends. Welcome back to another edition of Farming Simulator 2015 with me, your old buddy, Mr. Moose, here on Manchester with the Soul mod. And we pick up where we left off yesterday. I've actually fast-tracked time forward. We are around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, about 24 hours from where we left off. Went ahead and did that so we could get all the fruit on the orange trees down there ripened, so we can go harvest those a little bit later on today. But first things first, we got to get some herbicide in the fields because the weeds are taking over. So, once again, I can't, if you're going to do Soul Mod and you're going to look and you're going to figure your spreadsheet out, I can't emphasize enough, when you start your game up each day to play, if you're not playing through day by day by day by day, make sure you go ahead and open up your PDA and check your weather forecast for the day. When we recorded the video yesterday, today's weather forecast was for 25C, which would have meant we would have been using a double dose of water in the fields. But now it's 16C, so I'm not using the double dose of water. So, make sure you double check those, because if you've done a spreadsheet and you've figured out and calculated your watering table based upon the number of days where you're going to have 22C or higher, you're going to need that extra water. Well, if you come in here and you get a different weather forecast, that's going to mess you up quite a bit. So I just thought I would reiterate that to you because it, in course, happened to me again. So that's the reason I've stopped doing the spreadsheet thing and just figuring it out in my head, which I know a lot of people have said, oh yeah, I use a spreadsheet, and I've even looked at some spreadsheets. There's a really nice one out there where somebody went in and actually they've got it to where it's auto-calculated for you. You put in the activity you're going to do, and it actually just pops all the numbers for you automatically. So you put in what your starting numbers are, and you say, okay, well, you go through and say, well, I'm going to plow, which that means it takes out moisture out of the field, and then you say, well, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and all of a sudden it tells you, well, if you do those steps, these are the numbers that you're going to get in the end, and it's pretty cool. So, I almost made a mistake there. It's really cool, but you can't, if you say, well, I'm going to have to water this many times based on the weather forecast, it's going to throw you off. Because the weather forecast is going to be inaccurate, so just thought I'd point that out. Alright, so we are going to be using bee herbicide today because we are going to be spraying some cereals, which are the oats and the wheat. Both of those are intolerant to A, so you can spray B and C on them. And then we're also going to be spraying some let me make sure I get this right, root vegetables, root crop, in the potatoes and the sugar beets, and they are intolerant to C. So, wheat will take B and C, and oats will take B and C, and the earth fruits will take, or root crop will take A and B. So, B is the common denominator, so that's what we're going to be using today. So, right, let's get this all dialed in. Field 4, we got our little path here, and we will get started spraying. And so we'll do the spraying today. We'll get the fields taken care of. We'll look at our moisture. We're at 35%, so that means this spraying is going to add 14% to that, which is going to put us at 49%, and that's pretty good. I want to keep it right in that range. If 32, 34, we're looking at the numbers right now, so if we're at 34, 35% on this, and I want to give myself a 28% cushion, so that's about where we want to be. So we want to make sure that we keep it. One spraying of this field is going to be fine. We're just going to spray it and be done with it, and we don't have to put any moisture on this field other than just what we'll get out of putting our herbicide in. I want to make a note of how far out my boom goes here. I could put one more row of trees in probably. Oh, wrong direction. There we go. Alright, so we'll spray this. So I've made one little change on the farm since we were last in yesterday. The potato field back there, field 20, was really dry, as well was, I know I said I wasn't going to adjust the moisture levels, but I decided I'd go check everything. And when I looked at field 20 and I looked at field number 7, they were way out of range with field 4 and field 6. So I went ahead and gave them a level of moisture. When I was doing field number 20, I had a moment of brilliance that struck me. Is the size of field 20 is just, you know, going off of this sprayer, the size of 20 is just a little bit off, and to the point where it doesn't make sense if I spray it with this thing and I do 3 or whatever sprayings on the field. When I get to that last spraying, it's so tiny, it's a waste of time to do it. There's only like 6 meters of field left, and we would be wasting more product in our spraying than we would actually be getting a benefit out of. So what I did was I went into the field and I went back and retrimmed out the field to where it is perfectly, the width of it is perfect to this sprayer, so that when we do go in there and spray the field at the end of the day, we get the same, we'll get like 3 good passes through there, and that little 6-meter area has been cut back in with grass, and that way we're not trying to figure out how to spray that little 6-meter swath and not losing all that extra fertilizer and water and all that, because it was just waste. And so that's what I ended up doing with it and got rid of that. So you'll see that when we get over there to spray it in just a little bit. But yeah, I decided to take care of that and lose it. What else did I do? I mowed a bunch of grass yesterday, got that done, and I think I've got quite a bit of grass now into storage. I had to go all the way around the map to get it, but we are sitting on, where does it show that? 222,000 liters of grass, so we're okay with grass right now. I need to give the sheep a little bit of water, so I'll need to do that today as well. Alright, so make my turn, ease up here. I keep telling myself I'm going to start cutting these corners so I don't have to keep pulling this boom in like this. But then I keep looking at the field and going, oh, it's so much easier just to do it this way. Less tram lines. Though I do have to admit, when I did field number 20, I did do that one with actually rolling the corners in it. So I didn't go actually out into the headland at all on it. So it'll be a little bit different. I really should start doing that though on all these fields. save myself a whole lot of time. And we'll do it on the next one, maybe. Alright, so we'll come on up here. We'll readjust ourselves for the next part of this, which is number 24. And we'll spray this last little bit. Uh-oh, we're going to run out of spray. These herbicides have more solids in them, so they don't spray as well as just water or fertilizer does, I guess. So we'll have a little bit we'll have to come back and hit on this field, I imagine. Which we pretty much usually have that little hiccup we run into. It's gonna get so close and yet run out right at the very end. And there it is. Just that low corner. Alright, so we'll pack up, we'll go restock, come back and spray that little corner there. And then we'll move on to the next fields. So I downloaded a couple of mods yesterday and took a look at them. One of them was the update to the Fent 900 series, the 900s. And I really wasn't that impressed with it. There's really not that much that's changed in it. So they've added some wider tires to it. They've upped the green on it. Doesn't look as sun faded as the one I have right now. And I thought about changing it out, but I haven't yet. So I don't know. I really don't see any difference in the two of them that justifies changing it out, other than it's newer. I need to go look through the change logs and really figure out exactly what has changed in there, so I can know whether I need to update it or if it's just something that doesn't really matter to me. What else did I do? I swapped out the 1050s. Did a little reading and everything, and I've got a version of the 1050s now that doesn't slide, that is actually fixed. So I downloaded those off of, which is the current version, off of Timber's little 3D website. The current version of them now is fixed, and so that's what I'm using. For a while they were bucking around like a Bronco, and but he has fixed that. So I've downloaded that and swapped those out, so they actually work now. I gotta swap them out on the rest of my maps now, before I can completely remove that old mod out of my inventory. Alright, let's line up over here, and we'll adjust to, let's see, come down, field 7, load that in. Alright, and we'll get to spray in this field. which this is our wheat field. We'll get it sprayed out. So I think what I'm going to do, I've downloaded the Ropa Tiger Pack, which has 2 different versions of root harvesters in there. It's got one for the yellow one, which I've done the review on already, which is the sugar beet harvester. But they now have a potato. Somebody's gone in and made a potato version of it, which is basically the same harvester. They've just made it to do potatoes, which I don't understand why you just can't use the same one for both of them. It's the same process. Cut the vegetation off, dig up the root, and shake, 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 you know, and put it out there. So really not sure why you can't use the same one over and over, but yeah, so I downloaded that pack. It's got both of those in it, so I'll be using those to harvest our root vegetables when those are ready to be harvested. Oh, look at there, I cut the corner. Ooh, I'm in trouble now, aren't I? There we go, make our turn and head off in. It helps to run a little bit if you do this and you run the corners like that. It helps to run a little bit past where your GPS line is and then make your turn, and that way your outside boom, which in this case was this end up here, by going a little bit further when I made the turn, I was able to get this whole area up in here sprayed really well, and I didn't miss that corner. If you make the turn early and come into it, you'll cut that corner and you won't get spray all the way in it. So you'll notice on 20 where I've swung out a little bit, and you'll see me do that here too. When I get up towards the end, I'll swing out just a little bit to the left, then make my turn. That'll make sure that I get the whole upper corner up here covered, and then I'll swing back to the, I'll go past my line just a little bit before I swing on the other one. Alright, so I can swing anytime now, and I'll just come out a little bit, make my turn, come on in here, and I'll travel just past the center line, and then make my turn in, and that way I'll get full coverage into that corner up there with it. I know, I really don't need to worry about that so much. I mean, if you miss a little bit of space, it's not going to really kill you to miss that little bit of space, but I'm sort of anal, so I do. I probably destroy more crop by doing that turn that wide than I actually benefit from spraying it right, but you know, I like to get full coverage. Silly, silly me. All right. Alright, so we'll make that turn there. Looks like I actually missed a little bit. Oops. Alright, shut that off for a second. Make sure I get the right line here going back. I could drive it manually, but I don't want to damage any more than I absolutely have to. Alright, so if we look at the moisture content in this one, it's actually going to be a little bit high. I've got to work to bring this one down. This is 56%. So spraying in here, it's actually going to be 60. I actually hurt myself by putting moisture on this field. What got me was I looked at the weather forecast and I saw that 25C day. And so I went ahead and put a little moisture on those other fields because they were in the 20s. I thought, well, man, if I take up 2 cycles That's 24% right there. They're going to be at 0. So I put a little bit of water on them, and then I didn't get anything, and now they look really, really too much moisture at this point. I mean, this is going to be 70%. Well, actually, when it recalculates, it'll be 57%. It'll be perfect, but y'all know what I mean. Alrighty, got that field done. We'll do our sugar beets next, and then we'll travel over and do the potatoes. Get that out of the way. There we go. Oops. Doesn't turn as tight as I think it does sometimes. Alright, back to NPK. Fill up. So last night, I don't know if you guys get rural television where you live. If you live in the States, Canada, you might get it if you're on Dish or something like that. I absolutely love that channel. It's basically rural television. It has a lot to do with you can get your daily ag reports on it throughout the day. They have a lot of cattleman shows, different farming programs. They're really good to watch. But on Sunday nights, they have classic tractor, crazy about classic tractors or something like that. I forget the exact name of it. But anyways, so last night they had John Deere tractors on, and it was all classic John Deeres, and man, it was a good show to watch. Enjoyed that. I watched that one last night, and some of them I don't get into, like when they're doing a lot of the Mighty Mows and things like that. I don't really get into those because they weren't really tractors that we used around here. But last night's John Deere show was really entertaining. I really liked it. Alright, so we need to go down to field 26, start over here, and verify that I did change over to double B. So we can put our BBs down, and I can fall out, and we can get going. Yeah, I like that show. I usually will flip on Sunday nights and see what they're doing, and if it's something I really like to watch, you know, if it's Massey's or old Internationals, old Fords, things like that I, you know, was exposed to as a kid, then I get into those shows. I like to watch them. But if it's, you know, something that I didn't really get exposed to as a kid, then I'm sort of like, eh. But yeah. But it's interesting because I see brands of tractors I never knew existed on that show too. You know, I guess because again, maybe they were regional, and it was a company that made them, like the ones made out of Michigan. I forget the names of them now. It's like Michigan Mohawk or Michigan Monarch or something like that. I think they called them the Mighty Mows or whatever. Yeah. Never saw one around here. They were bright yellow tractors. The only bright yellow tractors I ever saw in my area were John Deere's, which everybody knows John Deere is bright green, or green machines. But in the day, there were some yellow ones as well. And even today, their commercial line of tractors, their construction line is yellow. But back in the day, their ag stuff also was yellow as well, until they really branded on the John Deere green. But yeah, if you get that channel and get a chance to watch it, I watch it a lot during the day. I'll catch the farm reports, and it's interesting to sit and watch some of their shows that they do on different agricultural practices that are, for me, it's interesting to learn more about different practices as far as fertilization and things of that nature. It may be something I've never heard of before, that I might want to consider around here. And then when I go into my co-op store, I can talk to the guys at the co-op store about it and find out what they think about it. There's always different advertisers on there for different types of weed preventatives and things of that nature. So it's just one of those things that, because I do run a sizable little operation, I do keep up on things like that, though I don't have to rely on it like people who do it commercially. Those who do it commercially, who need to know what the commodities forecast are and what the daily prices for trending prices for corn is, and all of that, I don't have to keep up on that as much, but I do like to know what's going on in the industries, just to stay on top of it. And then you get the bonus, there's a little bit of lifestyle on there as far as, shows that tend towards people who farm. So that's interesting to watch a lot of times. But, I like to look at the equipment shows and things of that nature. So, y'all, I do apologize if y'all hear some odd noises in the background during this video. It's just an absolutely gorgeous day. The weather is in the 60s. It's just wonderfully nice outside. So I've got the windows open to get a little air in the office and to cool it off a little bit. And so if you hear the odd sound here and there in the background of something starting up and running, like a car or something else like that, or a dog bark, or peacocks start cackling and parrots start going crazy, yeah, it's because I got the windows open. I know y'all are thinking, what is he talking about peacocks and parrots? The lady that lives sort of catty corner to me raises peacocks and parrots commercially, and they are the loudest, most annoying things you will ever hear. I mean, if you're on a farm and you got some chickens, they're gonna cackle, and yeah, you may have a rooster that goes off early in the morning if you're doing, poultry. Yeah, sheep make a little noise. Oh my God, birds are the noisiest thing on earth. These things go off, and it sounds like a war has started. They are so loud and so annoying, and I swear when I first bought this place, I swear every day I threatened to take my BB gun back there and just start taking out birds. I know that's a horrible thing, but they are so loud in the afternoons when they feed, which it's, looking at the clock here, we're getting up, coming up on 4 o'clock here, and Feeding time for them is around 4:30 or 5. Holy cow, it is so loud. And it's like being in a rainforest or something, I can imagine, or something. It's just crazy loud. I can't even begin to explain to you how loud. It scares people sometimes the first time they hear it. Which is great. I let my dogs run back there in the corner and harass the birds, which is always fun. So, 'cause, here's the thing. I live in a residential community. It's supposed to be residential. Now, granted, somehow she got a license to raise wildlife in a residential neighborhood, and I can't figure out for the life of me how that managed to happen. So, yeah. That part of it kind of drives me crazy. So sometimes I just want to pop a few birds. But the great thing about it is, and the one thing that I've, after living here for a year, the one thing I've realized is her birds and all the bird seed attract all the mice in the area, all the rodents, which attract all the snakes in the area. So I haven't had a snake one in my yard, and I have a sizable yard. I'm on almost 2 acres of land here, and I haven't had a single snake this year, where everybody complains about snakes in the areas around me. I haven't had a single one, so I'm pretty up on that. She has snakes all the time, from what I understand, and well, I can understand why. If she's got, bird seed continuously around. Oh, I'm trying to look. I can't see where my turnout is here. That's not good. I'm just gonna have to guesstimate it. But yeah, if she's got, all that bird seed going down on the ground, she's obviously going to have rodents coming in to feast on said seed that goes astray, because from what I can tell, she doesn't do a really good job of cleaning up around there. And so yeah, she's got to be getting some rodents in there, and they got to be attracting snakes. So, but yeah, I'm waiting to see if I get any snakes. If I get any snakes here, Mr. Moose is going to be picking up a couple of guinea fowl. And I'm going to be getting a couple of guinea fowl to roam my yard and let them take care of the snakes. Yeah. So what else is happening? This morning, my neighbor and I got everything set up for our pig slaughter. We are going to trap us some pigs here in the next couple of days. And get our permits from the city to go kill them. But the plan is to build a run that they will come into. And once we get them in the run, we're going to trap them. And we're going to feed them some sweet feed for a few days. Because from what I understand, you need to, you got to feed them up a little bit on something decent to get a little bit of the gaminess out of them. And then once you do that, you can kill them. Alright, as you can see, I've changed over the field here. You can see that I put some grass in here on the side to narrow this field down just a little bit. You can see how much of an area was left over. It wasn't much. It was really basically the width of the cedar, 6 meters. So just by going in and sowing that little bit of grass in there, that means we don't have to tend to that, and we won't have all that waste. Because going in there, it just didn't make any sense to have to make another pass to spray that area. So, and again, looking at my soil moisture, putting that little moisture on there because I thought I was going to be dry with the weather forecast, actually is going to make this field a little, well, I mean, tomorrow it's going to be 52% just like it is today. So I do need to go skip a cycle and make sure it dries down a little bit more, and get it on down to, you know, right around 38, 39, somewhere in that area. So no moisture for this field tomorrow, as we want it to dry out a little bit. We need to get it to the point where the day of the weather, it's 28% drier than it should be. So basically I need it to be that evening, I need it to be around 43 going into that day, and then when it dries out overnight it'll get down to around 29, so that the 2 cycles of rain will bring it on up and get me to where my 57 that I need to be at. So that's the plan anyways. Alright, so all of our fields are now sprayed with herbicide, so that'll kill off all of our weeds. And our moisture levels look pretty good, so we'll just leave no more water. The moisture off of this will pretty much just recover overnight, and we'll be stuck with what we got now. So we're in pretty good shape. So we'll put this guy up, and we'll grab a trailer and a tractor, and we'll go harvest some oranges. And we'll set up course play to be able to auto harvest our field down the road, so that we don't have to do it each and every day. And we need to put in a kiosk as well today. So alright, so we'll run down here. Grab our little vent here. Oh look, we can see through the wall. Nice. Alright. And I can use anything that will hold a potato to harvest this with. But the question is, do I want to get one of the Rosenthaler trailers to do this with, or do I want to use that behemoth there to do it with? I cannot use the gravity trailers because they only hold the 4 fruits. They only hold, let's look at what we got here. Y'all can hear the pump motor outside. That's what's running if you hear that hum in the background. Let's see. The gravity trailers hold, let's see. Yeah, they only hold 3 fruit groups. They won't, or 4. They hold the just regular cereals, so they won't work. So I'd either have to use the trailer that we got the other day when we were doing silage, this thing, or back. Come here. Find the right thing, you dum-dum. One of these guys. I could use it. Which is this one right here. I can use it. Or I could get a new trailer. I think just for today we'll use this thing. And if it doesn't work out good, we can always go get another trailer. I'm starting to get a bit of equipment in here. And you probably thought, oh man, he's never going to fill up all that storage. I don't know why he put so much storage in there. Thinking ahead, thinking ahead. And yeah, we're going to run out of storage. We're going to have to move some stuff to the beef farm once we start doing beef. So We'll see if this works. This might be too tall though. Might be a bit tall to get underneath the fruit trees. Let's look. Might be a bit tall. Alright, so I want to set up for this so it's automated down the road, which means I have to come in here and load in some stuff. I'm gonna drop my trailer right here, and I'm gonna start my recording right here. Alright, so we're gonna record a courseplay course so that down the road, and I've done this before, y'all have probably seen this, so that down the road I can actually come through here automated and not have to do all this all the time. I just want to drive right past the tree. Yeah, right in here's fine. Let it stop, and I'll put a pause in. Drive up to the next one. Put in another pause. And I'm going to do that all the way through here. Just driving right past the tree. Put in a pause. There we go. And so what will happen is if you haven't seen me do this before, when I actually set this up automated with courseplay will come in, come to the pause marker, and stop for a duration of time, and then it will continue on down through here doing the exact same thing. Pause. Pause. I think that's far enough forward. There we go. So I'm just going to mark each tree. I have to put one for each one to tell it. It'll pull up here. Once it gets into place, it'll stop and wait for however long. Usually 12 seconds is what I set it up for. It'll wait for that duration of time, take all the fruit off of the tree, and then pull back forward to the next tree. Alright, so that's set there. Set that one there. Alright, keep on going through here. There we are. Alright, so I can pull off, make my turn again here. There we go. So we get 600 units of fruit off of each of these trees, which is one of the reasons I wanted to do the orange trees versus doing the apples or the pears. Or they just have a higher yield on them than everything else does. The rest of them are like 400. The price on these may be lower. I'm not sure. I never have really checked, but I do know that you get a higher yield on these than you did on the other ones. So, whoops. Oh, we got to fix that. So let's pause this, back up a couple, and not drive all the way over there. So it will pause there. I can pick up right here now. Did that delete that pause? It did delete that. So pause again. Bring our trash can back a little bit. Here we go. Alright, so start from here. Pull forward. Pause. There we go. Now make our turn. That could cause some problems there. Hopefully we won't have too many issues with that. Alright, pull up here. Pause. Pause. I have a feeling that big hopper, that big tipper's going to get hung on these trees, and we're going to have to get something with a lower profile. So, never tried it with it. We'll try it, but I'm afraid it will get, it'll get hung up. Alright, so that's that. Now all I have to do is have it drive back around to the beginning and get out of the field. And that'll be my stop point right there. So that is that. I'm going to save this real quick, and I'm just going to say harvest oranges F4. That'll work. So here we are. So let's see how this works. See if the trailer runs into it and all that good stuff. So what I want to do is I want to hook up to it, and I'm going to start right here. I'm going to use transport mode for this, which I know that seems crazy, but transport mode, it doesn't matter what I'm harvesting or anything else like that for this. Transport mode, the biggest thing I have to do is I have to go into settings, and where it says wait time, I need to up my wait time for however long I want it to set at the wait point. I'm going to set that for 12 seconds. It's about what I've found works pretty good. And then all I have to come in here is come in and hit drive course. It's going to come up. I can tell it drive now, and it's going to come in here and start filling up. It'll get to the wait point, it'll stop, and we are not getting any oranges. Why are we not harvesting oranges? I don't believe this trailer's going to do it. Let's see what happens. This trailer is not going to harvest. So guess what? We're going to have to go buy another harvest so we can stop the driver. And we could go get ourselves another tipper. So back to the farm we go. Should have worked. That should have worked. But I'll go get me a Rosenthaler trailer, which I know will work. And we'll get it taken care of. Theoretically, anything that you can hold potatoes in should hold fruit. But I've had some issues with that lately, so I don't know if something's changed in a mod or what. That's alright. I know the Rosenthaler trailers will work. So I'll run over here, drop this guy real quick, and we'll go grab a Rosenthaler, and everything will be good. Alrighty, to the store we go. And we'll jump into mods, tippers. We're going to grab this guy here. Buy it. Okay. And we'll have that delivered here to the farm real quick. Reset. Yes, I think we will. Alright. We'll run up here and grab it. There we go. Back to the orchard we go. Our little Krone Imsland trailer that we got here. I actually like these little trailers. They're kind of cool. Now, let's see what happens when we say drive course. Oh, hey, no, don't go that way. Let's go to the beginning here. Here we go, bud. There we go. Now, let's see what happens. Oh, there we go. We have oranges. Why didn't we stop at that waypoint? Alright. So, yeah. 12 seconds is way too long. So, we'll bring this up. I'll go into here. Let's go down to 8 seconds. Five seconds, maybe? That worked. I'll give it 6 seconds. I think that'll be plenty. Seems like that worked pretty good for these trees. Yeah. So it's trial and error. You'll find what's best for you. And now all I got to do is just let him drive through here and harvest all the fruit out, and I don't actually have to do it myself. Now the next thing we have to do is we've got to put a kiosk in to where to take the fruit and sell it, and then we'll end up having to put a fruit warehouse in as well, because we'll probably end up with a lot more fruit than we can deal with at the kiosk. So that'll be a learning experience too, because you know, we'll take it as it goes. Next thing I gotta do is figure out where we can put that lettuce warehouse, because I think I want to get it and start doing the lettuce, because I've put it in before on My Big Country, but I've never actually had it on the farm to work with, so we'll go with that. We'll let this guy fill up, and then once it's filled up, it's gonna go, well, where do I go now? Because I'm full. And I will take over at that point. We'll figure out where we want to put that kiosk. I think we'll put it up there, right up next to the main farm. I just want to see how this course does and make sure everything works on it before we turn it loose every day on itself. I think the kiosk can hold like 20,000 units of a particular fruit. I could be wrong. It's been so long since I've messed with it. So the one I'll probably get is the I'll probably get Peter's little kiosk and use it. Just about. There we are. Completely full. So at this point, this thing doesn't know what to do because it's completely full and it's just gonna mess around. So let's go ahead and stop it now. Otherwise, it's gonna drive through here and waste time. Alright, so with that done, let's look at kiosk. And we go in here and I've got placeables, selling points. I could either put down the T2K modding universal sell point, we could just go get instant cash with it, or I can get his sell point out of here, which is, I can use a bunch of different things. I can use the Rosenthaler grocery store. We could sell there. We could use the curbside sell point. I mean, there's a lot of different options we can go with this. The T2K modding kiosk lets me do a whole bunch of stuff. You could actually put potatoes and corn in there to sell if we wanted to. I think that's probably the route I want to go because I want to do some other things. I think there's an updated version of that too. I need to look. I need to check that today. Note to self, check to see if there's an updated kiosk. And it's actually cheaper than the Rosenthaler one. Let's go with so many decisions I've got to make, huh? I think that's wrong actually though. I think I'm misquoting on this. I think that's actually supposed to be apples and pears. No, there's apple, pear. Maybe it does do corn and potato. Maybe I just never have messed with it. Let's go with this one because Holly McHottie works there and we always like to have her on the farm. So if we bring that up here next to the farm and we put her, where could she be at and actually be a viable sales place? Because we need parking, right? She needs to be in an area where people can pull up and park. If we put her right here, and we could pull up behind. Look at me. Oh, you need places where people can park. Like this is a real farm. Let's see where we put her. Man, decisions where to put her. I think right down here is fine. Yeah, we can put her out near the road, right there at that culvert. And we're gonna run over her though. That's my concern. Maybe we put her like that. She won't get run over. Put her right over that culvert. I really should not. Yeah, I can't really knock the grass down, can I? Let's put her right here. We'll put it right there. Alright, so we need to come around to the front here. And we need to make another course that drives this thing over to there to dump off our fruit. Actually, let's go see how much fruit that kiosk will hold. Because if it only holds a certain amount, I might as well just put a warehouse in. or put a sales point in. I may just decide to put a sales point in and take the instant gratification. If it can't keep up with the amount of fruit that's coming out of there, I might as well just do a sales point. I could do both. Let's see how much it takes. Not nearly enough. Not nearly enough. So it takes like 7,000, something like that. 6,400, or what is that? 5,600? Yeah, 6,600. All right, 6,600 is what it took. So. That ain't good. Hey, what's happening? Alright, so she's selling fruit now for us every hour, and that is not going to work. I can't be babysitting that thing that often. Sales point somewhere is the next logical thing, or a grocery store. I gotta figure that out. Figure out where to throw a Rosenthaler grocery store down. I will experiment with that and figure it out, and then we can make a run to the grocery store. Because if she's only taking that little bit of fruit every day, yeah, that's not gonna work out. Other than put it in a warehouse, and then you've got to deal with the warehouse every day and all that good stuff. Where do we put a warehouse on this piece of property that we actually have some storage to put the warehouse in? See, these things I don't think completely through, and I need to spend a little time exploring that before I start jumping into a venture like this. Let's see, if we come back here, we could we got to keep this path coming through here open. The only place we could put the warehouse would be right in this area somewhere. Where to put our fruit warehouse? Alright, I will figure that out, and then we'll get it done. And I'm back on this road. I hate this road. It's definitely not going to be on that road anywhere. Where to put a fruit warehouse? I think it's going to be a sell point. I don't think it's going to be a warehouse. I think we may even lose the kiosk. Even though I like old Holly McCotty being on the farm. Yeah. I think we'll figure that out. Alright, so I'll figure that out real quick, and I'll tell you what I decide in tomorrow's episode. I think we're getting up on time here, so we'll go ahead and take care of that, and then I'll finish up the fruit production thing down the road. So anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video today. I will be better prepared tomorrow, I guess. If you like the video, make sure you give me a thumbs up. The mods that I used in this episode are in the mod spreadsheet, so make sure you check that out. And then, of course, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. I do a new video each and every day, or at least try to do a new video each day. I hope you guys liked it, and I hope you guys will come back tomorrow. Until then, y'all stay safe. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.